Hello and welcome to the Build a Nation Challenge in Croatia with Vukovar. If you look at your screen, Lons, who knocked us out of our first trip into Europe last season, went on to win the competition. At some point I will let that go, but not yet. In this episode we're going to go through the transfer window, take you through what players we need, and then get shopping to hopefully turn around the financial situation, but also build a squad competitive enough to fight on multiple fronts. So stick around, it should be quite a good one again, and we'll see you soon. Okay, like in previous transfer windows, we'll just have a quick look at what we're going to go for on the shopping list. I think we're alright goalkeeper wise. I don't think I'm really going to look for one unless one of them goalkeepers moves on a sale. I don't see any reason to kind of mess with them too much. In terms of left back, we need an understudy. So Kvijanovic is more than capable of being our first team left back. He's really good. He's still got a bit of potential left in him. So just someone to kind of deputise when he's injured. Centre back, we're looking really good, really strong. We've got Domagoj Begonia coming in. Again, another high potential player to come into that area. But that leaves us really strong in that area with a couple players who will potentially go out on loan again, like 17, 19 year olds, but still leave us a good 5 players to rotate through there. So not too concerned about that area. Right back is an area of concern. We have an understudy in Antonini Bok, who's one of our own homegrown players, but we're going to need to bring in a first teamer at right back, so that's a priority. In terms of defensive midfield positions, we've got one first teamer and one understudy, so I would say we need at least one first teamer and 2 understudies to have a good 5 to rotate in there. So again, another priority position there. So defensive midfielders and right backs really are top of the list at the minute. In terms of the right wing, I think we're all right. We've got a good spread of players going around. I think even when Coyote goes, if we can get him off the books, we've still got 3 strong players on that right hand side. Left slightly less so. If Coyote goes, we might need one more understudy who can play on the left hand side. And then advanced midfielder, I mean Sekulic isn't even an advanced midfielder, so we need an understudy in there, and perhaps that understudy needs to be the long-term replacement for Marko Tolic, who's been such a big player for the club. And then up front, I think we can probably just about get away with none. If Cargbo does go, which we're going to try and move him on, we will try and bring in a first teamer to push Sekulic down the pecking order as a competitive competition for a new striker, and we've got Jovicic in there as a potential moving forward. So we'll see how we go. It's not a priority, I don't think. I think definitely defensive midfielder, right back, and a couple understudies is, but we'll see how far we can stretch the budget of 0 and really move that around. Again, we'll tweak it and play with it and see what we can do. But I'll get through the scouting windows, etc. We'll get the free players come through. First things first, I'll fast forward to July when the loan players leave and all the players go out of contract, and then we'll have a look at where we are at that position in terms of whether we've got any more little free transfers signed on there. So I'll be back very shortly in terms of time, but in terms of months in game, it'll be a little while to get through all that, and then we'll see where our business has gone. And welcome back, and bear with me, I've not gone mad. I'm going to have a big staff clear out. I think if we redo the entire staff, because we haven't done it since we come up from the lower division, we'll redo all the staff, hopefully make some of the players happy who want improvements in the coaching staff, hopefully tailor the wages down a little bit, and we can improve the overall squad through training, etc., get better scouts, and hopefully get a better value of player coming through, shall we say. I have been busy in the transfer window, so there has been a couple transfers. You can see there's a couple more added on there in the unwanted list. So we're trying to get rid of a couple players, etc. And in terms of transfer history, this is what we've done so far. So outgoings hasn't got the people whose contracts have expired. However, we have got some, let's see, released players. There you go. Pavlovic, Francekovic, Mandic and Lukic. So 4 players gone out. So I mean, our main right back's gone out, left back reserve, third choice goalkeeper, and a youth player. So not the end of the world, but yeah, they've gone in. We've brought in Domagoj Begonia, so a centre half. I think this might enable us to let one of the other centre halves go. I think he's got a huge amount of potential. I think we could pair him up with our Brazilian. And then we've got 2 really good centre halves. If Kvetko stays as well, he's got some potential. We're looking pretty good in that position. I then took the opportunity to bring in that left winger. So we needed a kind of backup left winger. So we brought in Zan Kovacic. He's a Slovenian 23-year-old. He's got a bit of room to grow. His stats look fairly good as an overall spread, so we brought him in there to cover that position. And then finally, Gabriel Juresco in at right back. So we didn't really have a first choice. I don't think he is an upgrade, but he's better than the younger player we've got in that position already. So 3 players in already. We still need to kind of address that defensive midfield position, which I've just got one here who snuck in, Silvio Ilinkovic. So he's not a traditional defensive midfielder. He's a centre mid who likes ball winning. We're going to drop him slightly deeper. You might recognise him because he has been at the club before. There you go. So he was on loan in the 25-26 season, played 12 games for us. We've now got him back on a free transfer to bolster up that defensive midfield position. So what that means is we're looking not too bad in terms of a squad size. You can see we've still got a mixture of some young players in there. Some of them I'm going to look to move on because Bork, Kirovevsky, they're good high potential players, but we probably want to loan them out for a season or so. And there's a number of players like that within the squad. Then there's a few players I think we might just put up for sale. So I'm thinking Olivier Nzi. I think we maybe let him go, try and cash in on some of his value and get some of his wages off. Valentin George, maybe, because he's huge wage. If we can get some of that 60,000 as well. Coyote, who's already on the list, Cargbo, and then a couple of the young players who've been promoted from the youth who aren't of a sufficient level. So Tony Podobnik and Patrick Matic, we'll just try and get rid of them fairly sharpish. That should then bring us down to the wage budget allowance we want before we look into the loan market to see if we can strengthen. So squad so far shaping up quite nicely, still trying to get some more high potential players in. The scouting will die off for a little bit until we get the new staff members in, but yeah, overall a good start. I'll keep on going and see where we are when we get to the first game of the season, so stick around and hopefully I'll have brought in the other players we require. Welcome back. Things are going okay, but we're still missing a few players. We've only made we've made no new signings since we last saw you. I think when you look at the transfer history, Juresco right back, we've got the young left winger, and we've got a centre half, but we're still struggling to find defensive midfielders, which has sparked a bit of a formation change, and we've not found an advanced midfielder either. What we have done though is Ishak Coyote's gone out on loan to recoup some of his wages and get some loan fee for him, and Olivier Nzi has gone for 39,500 to Botev Plovdiv. What that means for the scouting budget is we've got it's not scouting, the transfer budget. We've got 38,000 transfer budget, 1,900 per week wage budget left over. We can shuffle that around a little bit. We're probably going to dip into the loan market next. We're still trying to move on Cargbo, of which there is some interest, but only on loan. I'd like to move him on full time and then bring in a couple players just to strengthen the squad up. It's shaping up quite nice actually. I think when you look at the tactics screen, it's probably the best way to look at it. Fairly good basis of a squad in there. Hanilak and Linkovic moved up slightly further forward. They were in a deep line midfielder. They moved into a central midfield role. We've put Ivanovic on attacking on the left hand side to try and get a bit more attacking up front. Sekulic has come back in as our main striker, but we just need to get another couple players in there ideally. If we can let Sablola go out on loan, Jovicic go on loan and Bork go on loan, and just get a couple loan players in to bolster the squad before we get into Europe, that'd be fantastic. In terms of the staff, that is growing as well. We've got lots of them back in now. Still waiting for 4 from the coaching team, 5 from the recruitment team, which are all going through, and then 2 more from the medical team. And that's made it a little bit easier in terms of dynamics because players are now happy that the coaching has been improved. We've still just got Kvijanovic unhappy that the training facilities haven't been done. However, until we reap loads of cash from somewhere, that's not going to happen because the finances are still spiralling downwards and the projection doesn't look great. The reason I've jumped in now is we're into the schedule, so we've got the first couple games to play through. I'll continue to go until the transfer window shuts, at which point we'll draw stumps at the end of the episode and show you what players we've got. Hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 more in just to bolster the numbers. Currently our prediction is even better than it was last year. We're down to 250 to 1. So we just need to close the gap on these 6th and 7th place into that 150 bracket before we start looking for Lokomotiva at the 50 to 1. So it's all going well. Finances seem to be doing okay. We just need to bolster it with a few more players in the squad so we don't get caught short. But yeah, hopefully positive news on the next one. And here we go. So 2.9 million in debt to £500,000 in the black. Truly fantastic transfer window. Fantastic start to the season. I mean, this has been absolutely unbelievable. It's kind of petered off a little bit towards the end, a bit of a slow start. But in terms of the overall, I think the transfer window has been absolutely solid. The boost in finances has been magnificent. And 10 games into the season, we are doing pretty spectacularly well. So let's have a look at how we've been getting on. So in terms of the transfers, when you last seen us, we've made 3 transfers down to Juresco. A couple of free transfers and 3 loans in here. You can see the sales as well. I mean, Kyogi, Kargbo and Jovicic's all out on loan. I think last you saw Nzi had gone. But in terms of the free transfers, Luka Lukanic, a central midfielder. I mean, look at the stat spread on him. As a free transfer, Croatian, already 3.5 star current ability, potential up to 4, so there's a little bit of growth in him as well. Only 23 years old. He's only getting paid £700 a week. Absolutely phenomenal. And he fits in with that positional change we did as well. We went to 2 flat midfielders rather than 2 deep midfielders. And Luka Lukanic is coming, hit the ground running. 6 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's in the Europa League. He's had 8 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist in the league. His averages is in the 7s. So, magnificent capture for the club. I think one of the best transfers we've had in a while. Follow that with Rock Ernisa, free transfer. Again, central midfielder, can play defensive or flat mid. 25 years old. 3-star current ability, 3.5 star potential. Fairly good stat spread. Not as good as Luka Lukanic, but again, Rock Ernisa. Only made a few substitute appearances, so not fitting into the first team quite yet, but as a squad rotational player in that central midfield area, we needed one. We've got him. He's getting 1,600 per week, which is daylight robbery compared to Luka Lukanic, but we needed somebody in there to fill the gap. Lovro Chelsea we got on loan from Osijek, and some of these came in quite late because we waited until we could get the reduced wages on them, so he's on £0 per week on loan from Osijek. Advanced midfielder, currently playing now in the first team because Tolic is out injured. We'll take you through the injuries in a minute, but probably really good we brought him in on loan. I did toy with not bringing in a advanced midfielder, but it's so pivotal to the way we play. And again, you can see in there, he's got a couple of goals, one in League, one in Europa League. He's got an average in the 7.27 in the Europa League and 7.05 in the league. Stat spread, pretty good. Not as good as the previous 2 players you've seen perhaps, but again, doing really well. In on loan, no wages, helping us develop whilst not paying too much in wages. Next, this is a really good capture as well. Nikola Simic from Dynamo, left back, brought in to kind of be a reserve and understudy to Kvjanovic, but he became a first teamer and he was doing fantastically well. 4 appearances and an assist in the Europa League, same in the league. Played 8 games already, averages 7.19. Only 1,400 per week, coming from one of the top clubs, but unfortunately he's just picked up a massive injury and he's going to be out for 7 to 9 months with a cruciate knee injury. So what looked like a fantastic transfer window and gave us a first teamer at left back. It's not terrible because we've got Kvjanovic to play in there, but I mean he was monumental for us towards the start of the season and such a massive improvement in that position. And then finally we got Leo Rimac from Dynamo on loan. Just as a rotational substitute up front. He's not played particularly many games, 4 appearances, 2 goals. Just rotational to let our main striker have a bit of a rest because we've let some of our other players go out on loan. So in terms of what the squad looks like, it's looking pretty good. Everyone's playing really well. You've got a few players on loan like Jovicic and Kargbo, so that's why we brought Rimac in as cover for Sekulic. In terms of the wingers, we've got plenty of players in there. We've let Kariudi go on loan. Kumic has gone on loan. Kirevski's gone on loan. Still got 2 keepers. You can see Tolic has still got an injury. He's out for 2 to 5 weeks for some knee ligaments. And Ormorovic, he's out as well with a pulled hamstring. Injuries have caught us a little bit. In terms of the schedule, in terms of the 10 games starting off, a draw with Lokomotiva felt like a bit of a slow start. I thought it was a team we might be able to get a result at. Beat Cluj 2-1 in the first round, and as it turns out, we're not in the Conference League, we're in the Europa League, and more about that in a minute. We got a 1-0 win, first win in the league against Rudes, 1-0, Olmarovic with a goal. And then we got Cluj in the second leg, which was going to be a toughie always, and we managed to get to a 3-2 win, 5-3 on aggregate, put us in the next round, and it's that event there gave us 2.9 million for taking part in the Europa League, which has massively boosted the coffers in terms of the club and the financial position. Coming off of that, I mean, that's quite a few games in a tight space. Varazdin, we got beat 4-2. Tolic got 2 goals, but we got beat by a team that I would have expected us to normally beat. AEK Larnacus, we beat them as well, 4-1 in the first leg, 3-3 in the second leg to put us through comfortably, and again that's put us into the next round. I think it was Genk was who we played next. Osijek beat us 4-1 in the league, so where we were doing quite well in Europe, in the Europa League, we weren't doing particularly well in the league at that stage. Dynamo got a 3-3 draw in that as well. I think we were quite far behind at the start of that. In fact, no, 1 goal down, we went 3-1 up, and this is one of the games that they came back for a 3-3 draw, only picking up a point. Ghent beat them 3-2 at home. Sekulic with 2 goals and Tolic, so 2 of the players that have been with us for a little bit of time now are getting the goals. Dubrava, we got a little victory in there in between, starting to get some points on the board in terms of the league. Lukanic, Chelsea and Rimac with the goals. And then Genk, we got them in the second leg. It was a lot closer than that gives you credit for. We got a 94th minute goal, an 86th minute goal. So at one point it was 2-2 and we were only just going through. But a couple late goals made it a little bit more comfortable, put us into the group stage. Another win against Rijeka. Sekulic and Gacic was 2 really late goals to turn that one around for a 2-1 victory, having trailed for a large portion of the game. And then Istra, we beat 3-1, Hanjelik, Rimac and Olmarovic with the goals in that one. Into the group stages, the Europa League, Legia we beat 1-0, Sekulic with a late goal in the 81st minute. It was quite one-way traffic. We were dominating that game for huge parts of it. So yeah, I mean, a really positive start in that competition. Followed up with a 1-0 loss to Hajduk. They won with a goal in the second minute. We had loads of chances in that game, we just couldn't score. Disappointingly, Astana, I thought we might have got another few points to give us a strong position in the Europa League. Slipped to a 1-1 draw, and then followed that with a 0-0 draw at Rudes. So after 10 games in terms of the league, we're currently sat 5th on 15 points. So 3 points off second, not too bad. What a season for Hajduk though, not lost a game. 6 wins, 4 draws, and comfortable and clear at the top of the league. So I mean, what can you say really? In terms of the finances, and this is the biggest development, is it's finally going up. I think the projection as well is starting to go in an upward trend, and with that will come the development of the facilities, the training, the youth development. All that stuff's going to come now, and the more we can stay in the competition, the longer we can go in it, the better. I don't know if it's something we'll be able to stay in long term, because got 4 points from 2 games, but I think that Marseille we've got to play. Hispalis we might have a chance with. Tel Aviv will be a bit of a mixed bag. Ludogorets I think are quite strong. Braga and Austria Vienna. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility we can maybe get into the playoff round. I don't think we'll get into the top of that group. I think it's quite a competitive table. I don't know if it's got the league phase there. Yeah, so I mean, there's some big teams in here: Rangers, Man United, Sevilla, Wolfsburg, Lyon, Atalanta, Udinese, Leipzig, Galatasaray, Celtic, Sporting, Ferencváros. I mean, the list is huge. So I think we're aiming to try and squeak into that kind of middle bracket. Dynamo are in here as well with us, I think, somewhere, if I can spot them. Yeah, there we go, 24th. So they're on 3 points from 2 games. So hopefully between the two of us we can get through. Rijeka as well down there. Maybe we could get 3 teams through. And the reason we're in the Europa League is because of the coefficient from last season. We did initially get told we were in the Conference League. The coefficient place dropped down the leagues, and that bumped us into the Europa League. So, yeah, what can we say really? The squad planners, fantastic. We've got a bit of depth in every position, obviously excluding some of the injuries now. And I think we're on for a fairly strong season. So I'll leave you there. You can evaluate the transfer window and let us know what you think. I think for all those people out there playing similar saves who are looking for a way to kind of break into them top 4s or top echelons, is do your absolute best to loan players, scrimp people together and get yourself into Europe, and if possible just get into that group stage, because the financial rewards for that in terms of a small club like Vukovar is enormous, and moving forward it could be the catalyst that makes this a truly great save. So until next time, enjoy saves, enjoy Football Manager, and I will see you again hopefully towards the end of the next season.